Have you ever wondered why, even when you're excelling, when your projects shine, and your achievements are clear, there seems to be a shadow, a strange energy conspiring against your success, coming not from declared enemies, but from people you least expect? If you've ever felt that sting of hidden rivalry, you are not alone. And the story of Minamoto no Yoshitsune, one of the greatest military strategists Japan has ever seen, begins right there. Think with me. Imagine the youth of a prodigy, a military genius whose talent was undeniable. We're talking about Yoshitsune, a samurai who, from an early age, had his life shaped by the shadow of rivalry, not just from his adversaries on the battlefield, but from who should have been his greatest ally, his own family. His rise was meteoric. Every victory he achieved, every battle he led with tactical genius, solidified his clan's power. You'd expect that glory to generate unconditional admiration, right? But, in fact, it generated something far more complex and dangerous: envy. This envy, you'll see, was the seed of a tragedy that would unfold throughout Yoshitsune's life. For you, on your journey, this is a vital lesson, because it's likely you'll also face those who, unable to achieve the same prominence, will try to dim your light. No matter how just your accomplishments, envy can arise from where you least expect it, turning friends into silent rivals or even family members into obstacles. A lesser-known curiosity is that Yoshitsune's relationship with his older half-brother, Yoritomo, was initially one of great respect. Yoritomo, the leader of the Minamoto clan, saw in Yoshitsune a valuable instrument for his ambitions. But, as Yoshitsune's fame and victories grew, Yoritomo's distrust deepened, corroded by envious advisors and the fear of being overshadowed. It's a family dynamic as complex as what you might find today in your own life, where one person's success can awaken insecurities in others. How Yoshitsune dealt with this envy coming from his own blood teaches us about the importance of unshakable self-confidence. Even in the face of slander and attempts to undermine his authority, he remained focused on his missions and his principles. He didn't let himself be swayed by petty squabbles, but rather concentrated on honing his skills and fulfilling his duty. Do you see yourself reflected in this story? When envy tries to bring you down, how do you react? Yoshitsune's persistence, even under the yoke of family distrust, is a call for you to shield your mind and your purpose. It's an invitation for you to understand that others' envy says far more about those who feel it than about those who receive it. Think about it. If envy is disguised admiration, then it is, in a way, an acknowledgement of your worth. And to dive even deeper into this samurai wisdom, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel, so you don't miss any of the next lessons Minamoto no Yoshitsune has to teach you. Ready to discover how betrayal became a testing ground for your resilience? After delving into the weight of envy, Minamoto no Yoshitsune's journey leads us to an even crueler truth: betrayal. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where betrayal came from your inner circle, from those you trusted most, perhaps even from your own family? Yoshitsune experienced this in its most devastating form. His life, though filled with overwhelming victories on the battlefield, was marked by a constant and painful search for recognition that never came from where he most desired it, from his brother Yoritomo. Think of the irony. After consolidating the Minamoto clan's power with brilliant tactics and unparalleled courage, Yoshitsune was not met with the glory he deserved. Instead, he found distrust and resentment. He, who had risked his life and delivered the future of his clan, saw his intentions questioned and his loyalty put to the test. And the most painful part is that this distrust didn't come from adversaries, but from members of his own family. This is one of the crueler facets of the envy we discussed in the previous topic. It often manifests as silent or open betrayal. Yoritomo, consumed by the fear that Yoshitsune's brilliance might overshadow him, began to act against him. Imagine Yoshitsune's anguish, the victorious general, being forced to defend his own loyalty to the brother he had served with such dedication. You might identify with this pain. Perhaps you've been betrayed by a close friend, a colleague, or, even more painfully, by a family member. The feeling of being stabbed in the back by someone you trusted is one of the hardest wounds to heal. Little explored curiosity about this period is that after the epic Battle of Danyo, which sealed the Minamoto victory, Yoritomo forbade Yoshitsune from entering Kamakura, his seat of power. Instead of a triumphant reception, Yoshitsune was left out, publicly humiliated. He sent pleading letters to Yoritomo, trying to reaffirm his loyalty and explained his actions, but all were ignored. This refusal to communicate shows the depth of the rift and how blind Yoritomo was becoming due to paranoia and envy. Yoshitsune shows us the vital importance of discerning the true intentions behind smiles. Not everyone who praises you or approaches you has your best interests at heart. He learned this lesson the hard way, and you can learn from his experience too. This doesn't mean you should become paranoid, but rather that you need to develop your intuition and observe behavioral patterns. Pay attention to words, of course, but even more to actions. Actions are the truest mirror of a person's intentions. Yoshitsune's resilience in the face of this overwhelming betrayal is a beacon. For you, even with a broken heart, he didn't succumb to despair. Instead, he sought inner strength and continued to fight for what he believed in, even if his path was full of obstacles imposed by those who should have protected him. You, in your life, can learn to identify these patterns and protect yourself. Emotionally, how do you react when trust is broken? Yoshitsune invites us to reflect. Do you close yourself off from the world? Or do you use the pain of betrayal as fuel to strengthen yourself and become even more discerning? Yoshitsune's ability to hold his head high, even when reason was ignored by those who should have listened to him, leads us directly to our next topic, where we'll explore the strategic mastery he demonstrated even when his ideas were underestimated. After feeling the weight of envy and the pain of betrayal from his own family, Yoshitsune's journey leads us to a new challenge, one you've undoubtedly faced. What do you do when your brilliant ideas and intelligence are simply ignored? Minamoto no Yoshitsune wasn't just a brave warrior, a fearless swordsman. He was, above all, a brilliant strategist. His mind was a fortress of tactical innovation. He often used unconventional methods that defied the norms of samurai warfare. At the time, surprising and destabilizing his enemies in ways no one expected. Think of the legendary Battle of Danura, a decisive naval confrontation. While others might have opted for brute force, Yoshitsune used intelligence and knowledge of ocean currents, adapting his tactics in the heat of battle to turn the tide in his favor, securing an overwhelming victory. However, his genius wasn't always understood or valued by his contemporaries. Samurai society often preferred brute force, pure courage, and direct combat over the subtlety of tactical intelligence. Yoshitsune's innovations were viewed with suspicion, considered risky or even dishonorable by those who clung to tradition. He had to prove his worth repeatedly, not only on the battlefield but also in the halls where his strategies were contested and underestimated. How do you react when your innovative ideas or your knowledge are underestimated or ignored? Have you ever felt frustrated by having a brilliant solution, only to be silenced or cast aside? Yoshitsune's ability to stay true to his vision, even in the face of incomprehension and resistance from his own allies and commanders, is a powerful mirror for your own determination. He trusted his own intuition and analytical ability, regardless of others' skepticism. A fascinating curiosity about Yoshitsune is that he was known for his unorthodox training in the mountains, where he is said to have learned combat and strategic techniques from a Tengu, a mythical creature with supernatural abilities. While legendary, this symbolizes how his mind operated outside the box, seeking knowledge and inspiration in unexpected places. You might not have a Tengu as a mentor, but you certainly have the capacity to seek new perspectives and challenge the status quo when the situation demands it. Yoshitsun teaches us that true mastery isn't just about having ideas, but about having the conviction to defend them, even when the world doesn't seem to understand. It's about having the courage to be the only one who sees a different path and the persistence to prove that path is the right one. This doesn't mean being stubborn, but rather having clarity of purpose and confidence in your own intelligence. How can you apply this today? When your proposals are ignored in a meeting, when your innovative solutions are viewed with suspicion, what do you do? Do you retreat, or do you find a new way to demonstrate the value of your vision? Yoshitsune's lesson is clear. Your intelligence is a powerful weapon. Use it, trust it, and find ways to express your vision even when reason seems to be ignored. This leads us to another crucial aspect of his life: the patience needed to await the right moment, a virtue we will explore next. Have you ever felt impatient, wishing things would happen quickly, even though you know the timing isn't ideal yet? After seeing how Minamoto no Yoshitsune dealt with envy and betrayal, and how his strategic genius wasn't always understood, the next vital lesson from his life speaks to us about patience, but not a passive patience, rather the hunter's patience. Even with all his undeniable talent, Yoshitsune's journey was punctuated by long and challenging periods of waiting and exile, before emerging as the legendary general who would change the course of Japan. He spent years in temples and in self-imposed exile, away from the spotlight and political intrigues. Imagine him, a young prodigy, eager for action and to prove his worth, forced to live a reclusive life, silently honing his skills and observing the political landscape from afar. This patience of Yoshitsune wasn't synonymous with passivity or fear. It was a calculated strategy. For him, time away from the battlefield was an investment. It was a period to learn, to strengthen himself, to observe the movements of his enemies and his own allies without being noticed. He understood that success wasn't just about the strength of the blow, but about the right moment to deliver it. He studied weaknesses and opportunities, meticulously preparing for the grand moment of his appearance. You, in your own life, also face moments when immediate action isn't the best option. Whether in work, relationships, or your personal projects, the temptation to act impulsively can be great. How many times have you regretted making a hasty decision? Yoshitsune's discipline in awaiting the opportune moment to attack or defend is a powerful lesson in time management and strategic decision-making. It's the art of knowing when to wait, when to observe, and when, finally, to act with precision. A fascinating curiosity about this period of Yoshitsune's waiting is that he spent part of his youth on Mount Karama, a Buddhist center in the mountains north of Kyoto. There, he not only received formal instruction, but, according to legends, trained his sword skills and strategy with the Tengu, which symbolizes his mastery of knowledge and techniques that were beyond conventional for the time. He wasn't idle. He was absorbing, learning, and preparing for his moment. Yoshitsune's patience teaches us that preparation is key to success. It reminds us that there is power in the pause, in careful observation, and in the quiet building of your capabilities. How have you been using your own waiting periods? Do you see them as a delay or as an opportunity to improve, to plan, and to ensure that when your moment comes, you are more than ready? The lesson is clear. Patience is not a weakness, but a strength. It allows you to see the whole game, not just the next move. It empowers you to act with wisdom, not impulsivity. And that wisdom, that ability to wait for the right moment, will be crucial when you have to fight for your honor. Even when everything seems stacked against you, a challenge we will explore in the next segment. By now, you've seen how Yoshitsune faced envy, betrayal, and the misunderstanding of his ideas. But there's a challenge that transcends all of these. A battle fought not on the external field, but deep within his soul. The internal battle for honor. In your own life, you encounter choices that test your ethics. What is your price for integrity? Despite all the relentless trials and the envy that surrounded him, Yoshitsune remained unwaveringly faithful to his code of honor and loyalty. Imagine the pressure. His own brother, Yoritomo, who should have been his greatest protector, was now relentlessly hunting him. Yoshitsune could have succumbed to the pressure. He could have compromised his principles, perhaps sought alliances with Yoritomo's enemies to save himself, or even surrendered and begged for forgiveness in exchange for his life. However, he chose the harder path, the path of integrity. For Yoshitsune, his honor was worth more than life itself. This choice, to stand firm in his values, is one of the reasons why he became such a revered figure in Japanese culture, an icon of loyalty and moral courage. He represents the essence of Bushido, the way of the warrior, where honor and integrity are non-negotiable pillars. He lived and died according to his principles, regardless of the consequences. Have you ever been at a crossroads where you had to decide between what was easy and what was right? Whether at work, resisting an offer that would compromise your values, or in a relationship, being honest even when the truth is painful. Yoshitsune's unshakable integrity invites us to reflect deeply on the value we place on our principles. Are you willing to pay the price to be who you truly are, even when the world tries to mold you? A fascinating curiosity that illustrates this integrity is the episode known as Kanji. Fleeing from Yoritomo, Yoshitsune and his few followers tried to pass through a checkpoint disguised as itinerant monks, to prove their identity and prevent Yoshitsune's capture. His loyal retainer, Benkei, went so far as to hit Yoshitsune with his staff, reprimanding him for alleged disobedience. This act of public humiliation, imposed by a subordinate on his master, demonstrates not only Benkei's intelligence and loyalty, but also Yoshitsune's humility and determination to endure such an affront to protect himself and his men. Remaining true to the greater objective, it's a testament to his ability to prioritize the mission and the safety of his allies above his personal pride, a crucial aspect of his honor. The lesson here is clear and powerful. Your true strength lies in the solidity of your principles. When you know who you are and what you stand for, external pressures become less threatening. Integrity is not just a virtue, it's a shield, a compass that guides you through the most violent storms. Yoshitsune's story reminds us that even if the world turns against you, your honor is the last impregnable refuge. The internal battle for honor is the most important one you will face. How will you emerge from it? Yoshitsune's ability to stand firm in his honor, even in the end, shaped his legacy immortally. Something we will explore next. By now, you've journeyed with Minamoto no Yoshitsune through envy, betrayal, the misunderstanding of his genius and his patience. We've seen how he remained true to his honor, no matter the cost. But there's a final, powerful truth that Yoshitsune's life reveals. The lasting impact of your actions, even in the face of an ending. What will you leave behind? Despite his life ending tragically, with a fate many consider unjust and cruel, Yoshitsune's legacy echoes through the centuries. Think for a moment. Centuries have passed, and we still speak of him today. His legendary military skill, his bravery in battle, his strategic mind, and, above all, his unwavering honor and story of perseverance have inspired and continue to inspire countless generations of Japanese people and individuals around the world. He isn't just a historical figure, he is a symbol, an ideal. Yoshitsune is a vivid reminder that even in the face of overwhelming adversity and what seems to be an inevitable end, your actions, your character, and the way you live your life can transcend time. Yoshitsune's short, intense life left an indelible mark not because of its length, but because of the intensity of his choices and the quality of his character. He didn't live for himself. He lived for his ideals. Have you ever stopped to consider the lasting impact that your attitudes, your resilience in the face of challenges, and the way you treat people will have? We're not talking about fame or fortune, but the genuine influence you exert. How do you wish to be remembered? Yoshitsune's story prompts us to consider the kind of legacy we want to build, the type of influence we want to wield in the world, whether in your family, your work, or your community. A lesser-known curiosity is that Yoshitsune's figure became so iconic that he is a central character in various forms of traditional Japanese art, such as kabuki and no theater, and also in folk tales. In these depictions, he is often portrayed not just as a warrior, but as a model of virtue and tragedy, a hero whose fate was sealed by envy and malice, but whose essence remains pure and inspiring. The way he is mythologized highlights the deep admiration for his values, much more than for his isolated military victories. The lesson here is profound. Your life is a narrative that you are writing every day. Every choice, every act of courage, every display of integrity, every time you rise after a fall, contributes to the book of your life, which will be read by those who come after you. Legacy isn't just what you accumulate, but what you radiate and inspire. How can you start living today in a way that creates a positive legacy? Think about small daily actions that reflect the values you admire. Yoshitsune's story reminds us that the end of the physical journey is not the end of the story. What truly remains is the reverberation of your existence, the way you've touched other lives. With this deep reflection on legacy, we arrive at the final point of our journey with Yoshitsune. Now, it's time to tie all these lessons together and see how you can, in fact, unmask envy and become truly unshakable. No matter what life throws your way, you've come this far with us, traversing the extraordinary journey of Minamoto no Yoshitsune. We've seen the crushing weight of envy in his youth, the pain of betrayal from his own blood, the frustration of having his genius ignored, the discipline of forced patience, and the unwavering courage of his internal battle for honor, which led to an eternal legacy. Now, it's time to tie all these powerful lessons together and reveal how you can, once and for all, unmask envy in your own life and become truly unshakable. Yoshitsune's story is living proof that envy, while a painful and destructive force, does not have to be an insurmountable obstacle in your path. On the contrary, it can be a catalyst for you to strengthen your authenticity, hone your skills, and refine your character. Think about it. Every time someone doubted him, he became more astute. Every time he was betrayed, his loyalty to his own principles grew stronger. He did not allow others' envy to define his destiny or extinguish his light, even if it came at an immense personal cost. And we know that Yoshitsune's life ended in tragedy. Fleeing from his own brother, the essence of who he was, the value of his honor, and the depth of his resilience, survived and flourished. His name is not synonymous with failure, but with a greatness that transcends circumstances. He is a beacon showing us that true victory is not just about overcoming your rivals, but flourishing despite them. You, like Yoshitsune's, possess an inner strength that envy can never touch unless you let it. Remember, your authenticity is your greatest armor. Trust your own vision, just as Yoshitsune trusted his strategic genius, even when misunderstood. Cultivate the hunter's patience, for waiting time is a time for learning and strengthening. And, above all, protect your integrity and honor, for they are your most valuable legacy. One last deeply resonating curiosity is the devotion of his few but loyal followers, such as the warrior monk Benkei, even when all of Japan hunted Yoshitsune. On Yoritomo's orders, Benkei and others remained by his side until the very end. This is not just a testament to Yoshitsune's leadership, but to the magnetic influence that true integrity and character exert. The right people will be drawn to your light, even when shadows try to obscure it so. How will you use Yoshitsune's lessons to unmask envy in your own life? Transform adversity into a springboard for your greatest potential. May the story of this legendary samurai inspire you to live with such strength and conviction that others' envy becomes irrelevant. Flourish, not because you overcame envy, but despite it. Be unshakable. If this journey with Yoshitsune resonated with you and ignited a new flame of wisdom in your heart, please like this video, subscribe to the Samurai Wisdom channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future messages. Share in the comments which of Yoshitsune's lessons impacted you the most. Your journey to wisdom continues.